Okay, so today I'm looking at a problem that I went over in class with my professor, and I think it's going to be on the exam. It's very simple. I think it's going to be one of the easiest parts of the exam overall. But I'm doing this so that I can refresh my own memory and have something to reference while I study in the future, and also to give you anybody who's interested an idea of what a finance major in college might be doing. Well, we're looking at numbers and we're looking at words. So today this problem is pretty simple, to be honest. We're going to calculate the NPV of two devices and the EAA of the two devices, and then make a decision between the two devices which one we should pick for the firm to purchase. So let's start with NPV of device 1, and NPV stands for the net present value of the device. So if we look over at the problem, the firm wants to purchase an electronic control device. Yeah, that's not that interesting. They should really change the name on that. Okay, so device 1 is going to cost us $10,000, and it's going to last for 3 years. And there's annual maintenance cost in each of the 3 years, which is $1,800, $1,400, and $1,300 respectively. And it's basically saying, okay, with that information, let's find the NPV. So first thing we want to understand is that since this is a maintenance cost for the 3 years, and this is a device cost. So that means we're going to be working with a lot of negative numbers here. And we have to remember putting the negative sign, because I forgot to put the negative sign and it'll screw up the entire thing. So usually I have my BAT Plus in my hands. Got it right here. But since I'm doing this online, I'm going to be using the BA2 Plus, which is exactly the same as the one I have in my hands, but it's on the screen so you guys can see it. Holla. All right, so let's clear everything we're dealing with. Let's go to cash flows. Let's also clear that. So we hit cash flow, which is where we're at, CF0, and we're going to just input some values to get the NPV. So let's see, device A cost 10 grand. Okay, let's go with that. All right, so $10,000 is the first year cash flow. That's how much the device costs up front. And this is CO1 is year 1, right? In year 1, we're taking an $1,800 loss because of maintenance fees. So let's make that negative, enter that in. FO1 stands for how many years is that reoccurring. It's only recurring 1 year, because CO2, year 2, we're taking a $1,400 loss. So make sure that negative goes in place. And then this CO3 is year 3, and we're taking a $1,300 loss. We're spending a shit ton of money on this device. I wish I had better insight on what this device is. Maybe it's too expensive to even use, but apparently we need it. Okay, so now we have all our cash flows in. Now we go to NPV, and we get the I. And the I stands for interest. Or, in terms of for the problem, the cost of capital, and which is 7% for both devices. So you just put a little 7 here. We enter that in. We're golden. You don't have to enter it into terms of percent. It already knows it's terms of percent. Just gotta remember that. Okay, then we compute the NPV, and notice that it's a negative NPV because all this has been cost. We're not actually generating any positive cash flows. So let's 13,966.24. We're gonna round that to 13,966. We're gonna go over here. Negative 13,966 is the NPV for that device. Now, to do EAA, and just to reference what EAA actually is, I use Investopedia for a lot of this kind of stuff. The full thing is the equivalent annual annuity approach. Thank God they shortened it to EAA. Okay, so basically what we use EAA for, and if you can go to Investopedia and read all this, but in essence, if we want to compare two different things, projects or devices, right, with two different lifespans, we want to use this approach in order to get the correct cash flow, annual cash flows from each one. So it's just a way for us to compare two different things with two different maturities or two different lifespans for this instance, right? And so what we do is we take our net present value right here. Let's clear that actually. Quit. All right, there we go. All right, so we're going to take that 13,966, make sure it's negative, and we're going to put this into present value. This is just a way of putting it in terms of annuity. Don't overthink it. All right. All right, enter that in. The N stands for years, and we know this is lasting 3 years. So we're going to throw this over at N and be good. The IY, of course, is our cost of capital, just like the little I we saw before, as I dash Y. Don't overthink it. Cost of capital 7%. We're going to put 7 in. Future value is 0 in this instance, and we're going to compute the payment. And now the payment came out positive, but let's not forget that our net present value is negative. This is just a tricky little thing you have to learn about using the BA2+. It puts it in positive terms, but it's truly not positive. It's actually negative. A rule is that if your NPV is negative, your EAA will also be negative. So 5,321.76 repeating. So we're just going to make that 5322. Go here, negative 5322 is our EAA. All right, sweet. So we basically got that part done for that part of the problem. But now we got to compare it to device 2. So that means we have to do it all over again for device 2. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to second clear our cash flows. On device 2, let's not forget it lasts for 4 years and is $15,000 up front. That is right here in cash in year 0, upfront cost to buy the piece of equipment. And then in year 1, it's $1,700. Boom, enter that in. FO1 is only for 1 year, so we're going to year 2. It's $1,100. Negative, enter that in. Year 3 is $1,070. Make sure it's negative. You understand if you put one positive in, it's like, oh, it's just a pain, because then you're looking at something it might look right, but it's actually wrong, and the only way of knowing is to go back and check your work. So you really want to make sure these negatives are in. All right, and then in year 4, it's back to $1,100. Very simple. Very good. Enter that in. Now we go to NPV. The I is 7 because the cost capital is the same for both devices. And then we're going to compute. And we got negative 19,262.19. We're just going to round that to negative 19,262. Boom. And just like before, we're going to come back. We're going to clear out of this. We're going to clear out of that. And then we're going to take this 19,262 negative, put in the present value. Let's enter it in. The years are actually 4 instead of 3 this time. The interest rate is sticking at 7. Future value is once again 0. And we're going to compute payment. And remember, payment's positive, but the rule is NPV is negative, so our EAA will be negative. This is a negative number. 5,686.68. We're going to make that 5,687. Okay, so now we got 2 different numbers. So we're got to compare the EAA between the 2. What are we doing with the annual cash flows? Well, they're both negative, so it may be looking at, it might be looking a little confusing. Maybe, I don't know. But this is actually the larger number because it is a smaller negative number. So when we compare device 1 to device 2 EAA, we see that this is the larger number, 5,322. Thusly, in terms of this, for this question, we would purchase device 1. And we have completed it. Fantastic. We're having a great time. Always good looking at Notepad that's untitled. Now, thank you guys for coming to my TED Talks. No, but thank you if they come in and see this. Use this for my reference. I'll see you guys next time.